This is going to be a really, really good video to watch all of because you're going to get so much helpful value out of this, little nuggets about marketing and the expert things you can do to really grow your business. What's the importance of building a brand?
When you become known for doing that kind of work, you become top of mind for people when they're considering a project like that. And there's a really good chance that if they already know your name, they may not even get a bid from anyone else. And that is the value in being a brand versus being something they saw in a Google search.
Probably the bigger key of this is, how do you become known as the landscape company in your area? What are the marketing strategies, the steps you can do to get that to happen?
Being seen constantly in the market by owning every eyeball in the market, you will make yourself synonymous with that kind of work in your service area. And that's what we want to do. We want to tie, anytime someone sees a beautiful property in your area, we want them to wonder if that was you. I already talked about this a little bit, signs in the yard. I think that you should have like realtor size signs in the yard when you're working on a project. So when your crew gets there in the morning, they throw it up, they work throughout the day, it's there. It can stay throughout the duration of the project if the client is cool with that. After you complete a project, if a client is okay with you leaving a sign up for 2-3 weeks so that people see this brand new gorgeous project and they see the sign that has your website or your phone number on it, like we want to have some form of contact that they can take that's not forcing them to go search you out. We want some CTA on there, some call to action that's telling people you can call us to make your yard look like this. There is no better advertisement for your business than someone looking at a project you've just completed. And then secondly, uniforms for employees. Probably by the time you're doing landscape projects, it's pretty clear to you that like uniforms are a good idea. But there's something that a mistake that I've seen a lot is people focus a lot on what the t-shirt looks like when you're standing like 5 feet away from someone. You want people to be able to see your logo from the street when they're driving past your guys working, because again, that all of this is about you being seen constantly. And then we want to have trucks that are recognizable. I know a wrap can be a lot to ask for a company to spend on a truck. But if you can't do a full wrap, whatever option you have to make sure that your trucks are recognizable as your trucks, that is how you build a brand. And so that's going to lead to attracting better employees, right? When you become known as the company that everyone knows in your area for doing these kinds of jobs, the people who want to work at that kind of company are who are going to end up at your door looking to be hired versus if you're just the same as every other company in the market, then you're competing with every other company in the market.
So it's really funny how you're mentioning that. And it's like, it's all the thought of get as many eyeballs on it as possible. And how that kind of ties in and starts affecting other things that you're not even thinking about. When we started talking about branding, it was just about growing your company from a sales aspect. But as this conversation evolved, the more eyes that are on it, the more people that see it, these people are sharing with others that this company's doing something right because it's everywhere. You see it everywhere. You see it on the marketing, you see it on the truck, you see it on the shirts. And then that has the spin-off of drawing in people who want to work for a company that's well marketed that way, or more people know that that's a potential company to go to and apply for a job.
Yeah, I mean, if you work for a landscape company and you're, not treated very well, the equipment's always breaking down, and the company that you see when you're out in the truck working, they have nice trucks, they have good uniforms, the grass always looks greener. So every company has problems. I'm not telling you to create a perfect company, but the grass always looks greener. So if you're the one they're seeing all the time, you're who they're going to look for when they're looking for a position. Everything you do to build your brand is going to help every aspect of your business. There's something I want to talk about here. So I know everyone knows about 5 arounds or 9 arounds, the idea that you leave a flyer or knock on the door of the houses around the project that you're working on. If they're not in a uniform that I can immediately discern that they're from a company, I'm not talking to them at all. I have a video doorbell. I look, I see some random kid standing on my porch, and I just pretend to not be home and let my dog bark at him. The second thing is almost everybody starts the pitch with trying to use the neighbor's name. oh, well, we're working on your neighbor Susie's house. I don't know who you are or what you do, because most of the time they're not wearing a uniform. So I don't even know what business they're with, like what kind of business they're in. And like on top of that, this is going to sound bad, but I don't know a lot of my neighbors.
Yeah.
Like throwing their name at me doesn't really help. It feels very like old school sales script that hasn't been updated in 20 years. I just want to tell you the things that I'm seeing. The way that you can do this and introduce some value to the person whose life you're interrupting by knocking on the door. Do this when you have a reason to. If you know you're going to be using some equipment that's loud, go ahead and go and knock on the doors around the house and just let them know like, hey, we're going to be using, XYZ equipment. We just wanted to go around and let the neighbors know, hey, it's going to last for about this long. It's going to be a little loud. We love working in your neighborhood.
Well, and it's crazy how far that goes. Like I just recently on one of the last projects told my dad to do that to the 5 projects or 5 houses around where we were working. What you're saying is bringing so much value because you are actually bringing value to that person because they might get frustrated with a big pile of rock in the road, the big trucks, the big trailers, whatever it is, the noise, the stone saws, the jackhammer, whatever crazy tool you're using to do whatever kind of project you're doing. And now you're bringing value to them. And I said, just take a door hanger or use your business card and take it to them like, hey, if there's any problems, there's our company information, some of the services, let us know. We want to make sure nobody's bothered by our services and everybody's taken care of. But when you can bring true value, you're going to go so much farther because people are going to be appreciative of you being there and letting them know what's going on.
Yeah. So come up with a reason to be at their door. This brings us to my neck of the woods. We specialize in at Lightspeed Social Agency is social media ads. So I think you should be constantly posting organically. If you look at the Scooters Lawn Care page, like, oh my gosh, it is a treasure trove of exactly what you should be doing to build your brand. Getting people to know the people inside the business, the faces of the people who answer the phone when they call. So that's all organic. And then my neck of the woods is paid ads. What we do is we work to target the tiniest, most qualified group of people in your market to get you in front of them as many times as possible. What we do is use Facebook and Instagram to recreate EDDM. We target by the neighborhood so that you're only getting in front of the right people. And so then those 300 to 400 impressions you would have paid for EDDM, we're now using to get in front of these people a second and a third time, because what digital ads give us the ability to do is to do the equivalent of a mailer to them every day, twice a day. We get in front of the neighborhood that you know is qualified to do that. And this is something that anyone can set up. These are like readily accessible tools in Facebook's ad platform. You go in, you set up the targeting for the neighborhoods you want to go after, and you push ads hard at those neighborhoods. We're giving you one more area where they're seeing you. So you're doing all of these things in the real world to be seen and to be known. And then you have to follow that up by being in the digital space and being in front of people as much as possible there as you can without becoming, obnoxious.
What else can you really hone in on besides just the area? How tight, how niche down, how ideal client can you really get on Facebook?
One of the biggest indicators of like socioeconomic status is the neighborhood that somebody lives in. Mm-hmm. So there are so many factors that go into buying a home that's qualified for your services, the kind of neighborhoods you want to work in. Like a lot of that targeting, we can just physically we get a lot of that interest-based targeting, but you can do basically anything. Not to overpromise there, but you can absolutely work off of affinity targeting on Facebook to focus on higher income clients, all sorts of interest targeting. If I know a lot of lawn care and landscaping companies know that their first point of contact with a homeowner is with the woman of the home. Mm-hmm. That a lot of times that is the first person that's going to touch base with them, and you might end up, negotiating with a husband down the line, or the husband has input into the project. But you can run your ads specifically at 30 to 55 women who live in your target area.
Yeah.
My goal at every point in the Facebook marketing process is to get your audience as tight as possible, where Facebook will still run the ad so that instead of spending money to go in front of as many people as possible, we're getting in front of the right people over and over and over again.